my name is Megan O'Russell.
And my name is Christopher Russell, and welcome back to Page by Page, writing the book in real time, and welcome to our new Dragon Con friends.
Yay!
Hi, all. Yes, we did just get back from Dragon Con by like a couple of days ago, but
we've been so far on the struggle bus. We're actually recording this late, not because the chapter wasn't done, but because the brain and the mouth and the speaking weren't working.
It was similar for me.
And it was not gonna be a fun episode. So
No, it was gonna be like, all right, so then we
kind of needed more recovery days, which seems weird because we're used to like much longer drives on either side.
We are,
of events, and like we actually had a fairly merciful schedule.
Yeah, we did.
For a convention, so it seems like we shouldn't be so far on the struggle bus, but we are.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because like something that many people, those of you who are following us on TikTok, said in comments, and I was like, hey, what should we expect? And they were like, to be sick when you get back. And neither of us got sick, but I think that we've both been feeling kind of like, oh, maybe we're fighting off something kind of, you know what I mean? Like that kind of
drained.
like not run down, but drained. Yeah. So I think that's part of it. But no, we talked about it even last night. We're like, we should record this, and we both looked at each other and went, no, this is a terrible idea. So yeah, sorry for it being a little late. That is why. So thank you so much.
It'll be a much better episode. Thanks
your
for your
forgiveness
patience.
Is the best birthday present that I could have.
Oh yes, we are recording this on your birthday.
We are.
Happy birthday to you. You're so old now.
Wow, thank you.
How old are you?
Still 3 weeks younger than you.
Oh, you're an ass.
It's true.
But I love you. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Happy birthday. So yeah, I am 3 weeks younger than you, but I look like 4 years older at least. So that's kind of I can make fun of you.
Every time I look at the white in your hair, it's like, it's shake and bake, and I helped.
This will come as a surprise to no one, but the videos still aren't up. If they were, you would have seen the glare that I just gave Megan. Okay, so was there anything that you wanted to talk about before we get into it previously on?
Yes. For our new Dragon Con friends.
Wait, before we do it, can we cheers?
Yes.
So this week, sorry, this is me being completely selfish because I want to be able to have beer while you talk. But we are having Southern Tier Brewing Company Maple Warlock Imperial Pumpkin Stout. It is delightful.
You're delightful.
You're delicious.
You're lovely. Sometimes I hate us a little. Okay, so one thing quick first, and then we'll do the other quick thing. So if Bubba is super active, for our new friends, Bubba is our black cat, also known as Mo. But we did have a lizard friend that was actually on the inside of the window screen. So Chris and I had to rescue the lizard, and Bubba was mad about it.
He's fine.
So if you hear extra shrieking from Bubba, it's because he's still hunting for the lizard we saved.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bubby, but eating lizards isn't good for you, and I don't think you'd be very good at hunting him anyway.
For those of you who are wondering why eating lizards isn't good for them, they can contain liver flukes, which is not great for them. It's not that they definitely will, but it's not the best idea for them to eat lizards. Yeah,
like when Maribel ends up with one, I'm not gonna fight her for it because she scares me in that moment. But if I can get them out of the house and keep them from harm, I do that. For our new Dragon Con friends.
Yes.
If you are someone who's like, I don't want to step into the middle of the Laureldale Series narrative. Yeah. So Page by Page it follows along with the Laureldale book series. Mm-hmm. So if you want to go back to the very, very beginning of that book series, you're going to want to go back to season 1, episode 1. And there will be a link to that in the podcast notes, right?
Yes, there will.
So if you would like to do that, then hop back to that episode and you can start Ella's story. I almost said Lonnie.
Oh, no, not Lonnie.
No, that's how you're
story's over.
And you can start Ella's story from the very beginning. If you're like, I'm here for the podcast and I want to hang out with you and I will catch up with the story when I catch up, cool. Hang out. Have fun with us.
Ella, Anna, Amelia, Lonnie.
You know what it is?
Isla. What?
those.
Oh, where the keys are?
Yes,
yeah.
those keys are comfortable for my fingers.
Didn't you talked about this at Dragon Con, didn't you? Or to like somebody, I don't think it was on a panel. But yeah.
Yeah, I named a character Margaret once, and that word is painful to type. So yeah, all of my character names tend to be pretty easy on the keyboard, just because I'm gonna have to type it like a few thousand times. So
yes,
might as well keep it easier on my hands.
For those of you who don't know, Megan is not a home row typer. She did not learn from Mavis Beacon. She just kind of hunts and
Mavis
pecks.
Beacon tried her best with me. I had a greater will.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. Are we doing a previously on? Do you want to tell us about it, Stud?
Previously on Diary of a Blood-Marked Werewolf. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit longer than the normal previously ons because we are going to have some new friends.
For it. That's more of your time.
Okay. On Diary of a Blood-Marked Werewolf. About 2 weeks post-kidnapping, Ella is in Kate's house with Paige and Jason as her semi-perma roommate/gatekeepers, preventing her from reaching basically all things Etherean. Violet is mourning Clara now that it has officially been announced that the found skeleton was Clara Miranda. Caleb is not speaking to Ella or acknowledging her existence at all, and Ella is, well, just trying to survive. We know that our watcher has been, in fact, getting audio recordings of Ella's days in school, including her visit with the school counselor, Miss Hayes.
Which I'm pretty sure is a breach of HIPAA laws. So are we ready to jump into the present now? We've had our foray into the past.
I think so.
Okay. Not going to get snagged on any thorns to drag us into the past. Ella style. I want to see that visually. Like, I want to see, what does that look like to you, actually? Like, if that were to be done cinematically. When that becomes a hit television series on HBO Max, what would you like to see for that?
You mean if it was like an absolute visual representation
like
of
her
what
being
it's
pulled into
like?
the past, yeah.
Like,
past specifically.
In my head, okay, so picture Ella's like being as a seer.
Mm-hmm.
Like put her in this like magnificent flowing white robe of etherealness.
Okay, all right.
Now make that white robe of a loose knit crochet.
Okay.
Now have her walking across a really, really old wooden floor.
Oh, sure.
So it's like what's catching on her as she moves through the world. Of
Interesting.
Like she has this hypersensitivity draped all over her.
Yeah.
And she's just walking through a world of thorny things trying to grab her.
And then what happens when she's finally grabbed?
She gets pulled.
Okay.
So they're like waiting, like the little slivers coming up from the floor, almost like waiting for their chance. And once she gets hooked, she gets grabbed.
Okay.
Like they're like little Venus flytrappies.
Oh.
And sometimes like they're not strong enough, so she just gets like a little, and sometimes she gets like ripped away.
Right.
But it's like there are just snags everywhere around her.
Like the weird, like, what is it, like greenhouse copulation kind of thing that happens in book 1. Isn't it a greenhouse kind of like the atrium, like in the Argo?
Oh yeah. The bad sex in the Argo.
The bad sex in the Argo. Yeah.
The bad sex in the atrium.
Which I am very excited to get back to.
Instead of no sex in the champagne room, bad sex in the atrium.
Champagne room. Yeah.
So Chris just paused and said, I need another way to come up with it to go into this without saying, and without further ado. Okay, so give me option 1, go.
Continue.
Option 2, go.
I proudly present to you.
Option 3, go.
I don't know. I didn't wake up ready to improv.
Option 4, go.
Without further ado, I now give you
Apparently we landed back on the oldie but goodie.
Yeah, we do. I
tried to help you find inspiration.
I appreciate that. You inspire me every day.
Oh, wait, can I say one more thing about Dragon Con?
Please go ahead. I've already moved the mic, so you're going to have to lean in.
Okay, so I'm going to make Chris post pictures of this, but we got some really cute art at Dragon Con, and one of them is a kitten that looks exactly like Minnie wearing a lemon on her head. So I'm going to have Chris take a picture of this and post it online so all of you can see it, along with a picture of Minnie so you can see its brilliance. Sorry, I just spotted the picture across the room, and I'm tired, and I have no filter right now, so I really needed you to know about the lemon-headed kitty. Okay, now we can go into the story. I apologize for the interruption. This is how my brain is doing.
No, that's fine. I do want to just go ahead and say that, yes, I will put this up, but because this is a print that we bought from an artist, please do not download it and share it. That's not cool.
Ooh, we should put like a watermark across it.
Yeah, I can put a watermark across it. All right, we'll do that. Okay, so now...
Like isn't she lovely or something so that you can tell?
Yeah, we can do that. Okay. All right, so this is Diary of a Blood-Marked Werewolf by Megan O. Russell. Chapter 10, Option D. Thursday morning, I woke to a still dark sky. I'd managed to sleep through a good portion of the night, only falling into one nightmare awful enough for my fussing to wake Paige. She shook my shoulder, gave me water, dragged me through 5 rounds of 4, 7, 8 breathing, went back to bed. An efficient routine. A well-practiced routine. She'd had a guilt-inducing number of shitty nights' sleep, thanks to me. Knowing I was right to feel guilty as fuck for presently being way too awake and alert for drifting off to be anywhere near possible, while sweet Paige had been trying so damn hard to hide her Ella-forged fatigue, swept sleep even further away, leaving me lying in bed, attempting to shove my thoughts toward planning rather than brooding, panicking, or picking through the fun little visions that kept seeping into my brain like water creeping under a door. Get your shit together, Ella. Or at the very least suppress and detach, you little fuck. Miss Hayes and I had worked on positive self-talk in our second session. It hadn't gone well. I needed to do something to thank my friends for going so fucking above and beyond to take care of my ass. A way to show them I understood how deeply unworthy of their kindness I am without implying an attempt to declare their reign of care ended and or any undervaluation of the support system they basically impelled me upon. Any display of gratitude that involved food would be a fucking fail. With Jason and Andre around, no offering I could come up with would be worth consuming. I could plan a night on the town for us, or whatever version the booming metropolis of Laureldale had to offer. If Kate ever let me go anywhere beyond school and her home/my cage, ever again. If my parents had been giving their friends a thank you gift, they probably would have gone with whiskey. Frowned upon for high schoolers. Not the worst possibility. When I ran out of thanks for not abandoning my fucked up ass ideas, I moved on to weaving potential plans that supported both my personal current obsession and stopping Violet's new habit of punching through at least one school wall a day. Plus side of werewolf rage strength, the holes had been so impressive, both in depth and range of broken building material, the top 2 theories blamed either a football player or a geek with a pressure launcher. Creating 4 different, yet somehow equally semi-shitty and skewed toward failure plans lasted until the kitchen light flicked on, adding slices of shadow to the room. The sound of the kitchen tap turning on carried through my wall. Glass clinked as the fridge door closed. I still couldn't manage to fall back asleep. I needed to come up with a dream for the diary Hayes had assigned me to keep for the next month, with the warning she'd be making sure I didn't skip entries, which seemed like a long-ass commitment since she didn't actually work at Laureldale High, but as I seemed to be one of Hayes' 2 ongoing visitors, I'm pretty sure Harrison hired her specifically to force the GT, Grief Twins, into counseling whether we liked it or not. Layla Adams hadn't even made it through 3 hours of her horrific first day back before the school, meaning the amorphous being that is the full student body's weird communal mind, declared her my grief twinsie. Layla's mom had been killed by the same falling tree that squashed Carver. She spent the day sobbing in the bathroom. I spent the day fighting the acidic, blazing need to scream that at least her dad hadn't died, or that she hadn't been ripped away from the only life she'd ever known, or handed to a guardian whose primary goal was minimizing the damage her ward might do rather than the fucking harm suffered by said ward, or lost the very thing that defined her. Breathe, Ella. In 4, hold 7, out 8. In 4, hold 7, out 8. A kitchen cupboard closed. Not banging shut, but harder than Kate's gentle movements. I lifted my head from my pillow, leaning toward the bedroom door. No distinctive footsteps, but A glass clunked against the counter. Not Kate. I folded my covers back, fumbling for the fluffy socks I'd stashed in the bottom of the bed so they'd be nice and warm for morning. Thank you, past Ella. Paige's breathing stayed perfectly steady as I pulled on the socks and a sweater, opened the bedroom door, and slid into the kitchen to find Jason frozen, 6 slices of bread in one hand, a coffee mug in the other. He didn't move as I clicked the bedroom door closed and crept over to the, thank fuck, still mostly full coffee pot. Did I scare you? I aimed for a teasing grin, but probably landed closer to a sleepy one-eyed grimace. Did I wake you up? No. Jason resumed motion, setting his coffee and the bread on the counter, starting the process of tearing the bread and tossing the pieces into a glass baking dish I didn't know Kate owned. I pulled down my favorite coffee mug, extra large with a cartoon of a shattered house floating down the Widow's Run River because Laureldale loves weird morose shit. I've been up for a while, but I heard that you weren't Kate, so I dared to climb out of my hole. Is she really that bad? Jason paused, his breath... No, he didn't. He didn't pause. Wait, what? Why is his breath tearing? What is he tearing? Oh my god, he's a banshee. Is she really that bad? Jason paused, his bread tearing, grabbing the coffee pot before I'd reached for it. Filling my mug like anyone else pouring coffee in his presence would make his Argo-raised brain explode. I tried. I swear I fucking did. Racking my brain for any new, potentially forgivable excuses for Kate dumping me on my friends. All I could come up with was the same old fuckery. Kate was overwhelmed by the responsibility of caring for a traumatized ward while facing her own past failures and trying to deal with the reality of 2 Ethereans having been attacked in Blackwood territory, one of which went without fucking acknowledgement for more than a year, giving pretty solid fucking proof of Kate's incompetence and, assumedly, shaking her hold on the area in a big fucking way. Kate didn't know what to say to me since the witch whose corpse I'd burned wasn't the fucker who'd snatched me, and no one, either Etherean or Inhuman law enforcement, had found shit on the fucker who'd knocked me out and drugged me. Or Kate just didn't want to deal with me. She was pissed about my outing how badly she'd fucked up when Clara disappeared, and was so focused on how her life had been inconvenienced by a rogue Sybil and how to contain feral little me with minimal effort on her part, she'd forgotten the fact that I'm not incompetent or a naughty fucking child. Shit like finding Clara is exactly what I exist to do. I did the job well. I'm not sorry, and if Kate wanted any fucking hope of figuring out what happened to Clara or cared one shit about finding whoever the fuck snatched me, she should be begging for my help, not locking me in my human playpen and running away like a cowardly fuck. All 3 potential excuses qualified as logical motives for Kate dumping me on my friends. Justified, even. Worth forgiving 7% of her bullshit. She had no possible defense for the other 93% because rather than shove me in human shackles, Kate could pretty fucking easily have either A, treated me like a wanted ward and taken the time to worry about my sanity/safety herself rather than tossing the job on human teenagers, or B, let me help figure out what happened to Clara and to me, given me access and time and fucking space to breathe so I could make actual use of the fucked up visions that love slicing through my fucking brain. Or, at the bare fucking minimum, treated me like someone who's crawled through hell more than once and told me what's happening with Clara's remains, because there's no way the mysterious Ethereans who fuck around with human law enforcement to keep the poor clueless cops from wandering into a vampire nest or catching the eye of the Reapers hadn't come up with a decent enough version of Clara's skeletal analysis for Sheriff Fuckface to have figured out she was clearly fucking murdered. So why hadn't news spread through town, and why the fuck hadn't Sheriff Fuckhole started an investigation? You're welcome. You're welcome.
That was...
Yeah, I'm amazing.
Happy birthday to you. Congratulations.
Thank you. No cognitive dysfunction today. That's not true. There's plenty of cognitive dysfunction today. But not in those fucking paragraphs. All right, here we go.
Proud of you.
Thank you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And the crowd goes wild.
Sports ball of me? Did I do sports ball?
Yes, that was very sports ball of you, baby. I'm very proud.
Thank you.
Not that either of us watches sports ball. Yay, throw the thing. Get to the thing. Get to the red zone. Is that what it's called? I don't even know. I'm kidding. I know it's an end zone. I know football, kind of. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just like thinking about all the things I don't know about football. Ella. Jason bent over, looking into my eyes, worry sharpening the early morning gravel in his voice. It shouldn't be his fucking job to worry about me. Not for a single second. Not him. Not any of my friends. Which accounted for 85 of the 93% of inexcusability of Kate having abandoned the role of caring guardian to morph into a distant warden. Can you hear me? Jason touched the back of my hand. I held my breath, waiting for it to happen. The dreaded it, not to be confused with the unthinkable thing, the pair of horrors that tested my compartmentalization skills every waking moment. It didn't happen. Sorry, what? I blinked at him, playing up the early morning brain slop, faced out. The worry in Jason's eyes didn't ease. It's Kate's fucking fault. And mine. Milk in your coffee? He tipped his head toward the open jug in his other hand. Yes, please, I answered, pretending we didn't both know he knew exactly how I like my coffee since he'd been making it for me for the past almost 2 weeks. I'm sorry. He added the perfect amount of milk. I'm so sorry. Why are you up so early? I slipped my hand away from Jason's, reaching for my mug. Wait, still need sugar. Jason capped and put the milk back in the fridge, grabbing the sugar bowl from the counter without even looking and finding the silverware drawer on the first try. He sprinkled just a bit of sugar into my mug. Thanks. I let him finish stirring my coffee, hand me the mug, and turn toward the sink before asking, do you have some homework you need to plow through before school? Nope, just couldn't sleep. You're a fuck. You're a useless fuck. Anything to do with cramming yourself onto a couch that's way too small for you? I asked. I've slept worse places. Jason picked up a new slice of bread, tearing it, adding the pieces to the baking dish. But he's your friend, Ella. You know you don't have to, right? Have to what? He tossed in the last of the bread chunks. Stay here. It's not about you. It's not about you. Despite what Kate may think, I'm doing fine. Or at least fine enough you don't have to do permanent spinal damage twisting your massive self up to sleep on a couch. I don't want to be remembered as the reason you fucked your back for the rest of forever. Jason huffed a laugh. Good, Ella. You've got this, Ella. I'm okay to not be watched 24/7. I wrinkled my nose. Since I have no car, I might have to beg you for rides to school and home, and potentially for company on weekends if Kate keeps up the home and school only. They've moved the field day after party to the Argo. Jason pulled a stick of butter from the fridge. We'd usually have a parent-sponsored version of a woods party, but the parents killed that idea, so Mom offered our place. Is she sure she wants to do that? I sipped my coffee. I don't believe Jason Archer is capable of making a bad cup of coffee. She's sure. He got out a knife and bowl, setting them beside the butter. The school's giving Mom money for food, and the chaperones are going to be in charge of setting out the snacks and organizing the cleanup crew. That's still really nice of her. Jason cut squares of butter into the bowl, rewrapped the rest of the stick, and put it back in the fridge. I sipped coffee and watched like a useless fuck. He set the bowl in the microwave. Mom and Principal Harrison both talked to Kate about moving the party before the change was confirmed. They wanted to make sure Kate would be okay with you going. And Kate openly laughed. The microwave gave shrill bleats as he pressed the buttons. She said yes. What I'd intended as a shocked ha of laughter turned into a choke that rocketed coffee into my nose. Ow! Ow! You okay? The microwave shrieked its completion. Kate said I could go. I snuck the words between coughs.
I'm proud of your acting choices.
Thank you so much.
It seems like the big 4-0 is when you finally learn to act. Is it like a magical thing? The clock turned over and it went ka-ching.
That is definitely not what's happening. I love your positivity. Let's move forward with that. That I'm going to keep acting like that. Okay. You are a brilliant actor. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You were in like the coolest show in Orlando.
Yeah, I can't deny that.
You have been making fun of me nonstop for 3 weeks, and now it is time for retribution, bitch. Okay, continue. Welcome to a little insight into our marriage. Retribution fuckers.
Note, coffee and noses don't fucking mix. Sorry, I'm trying to act my age now. Okay. Kate said I could go. That's how I want to do it.
Okay,
I snuck
so
the
he
words
had
between
5
coughs.
minutes of good acting on his birthday. Maybe it's a once a year thing.
Note, coffee.
I love you. I'm horrible.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Note, coffee and noses don't fucking mix. Yep, with a few minor conditions. Jason's lips smiled. His eyes didn't. You're sure? The party's in the sheriff's house. Can't get much safer than that. A faint spark of excitement dared to flicker in my chest. Kate actually said yes? My mom made sure of it. Hours spent not at school, not at Kate's. A dozen different potential plans zoomed through my brain, each leading to a vague hope of success or at the very least some mimicry of progress. Your mother's my new hero. She didn't do it to be nice. Jason drizzled butter onto the ripped up bread. If you go to the after party, I run out of reasons not to go home. I don't like the way I delivered that. Okay, so here we go. Here's acting. Ready? Mm-hmm. She didn't do it to be nice. Jason drizzled butter on the ripped up bread. If you go to the after party, I run out of reasons not to go home.
Yeah, but it's onto the ripped up bread?
Damn it all. She didn't do it to be nice. Jason drizzled butter onto the ripped up bread. If you go to the after party, I run out of reasons not to go home. My brain chose that moment to, super helpfully, go totally blank, leaving me staring at Jason's back as he set the butter bowl in the sink and moved on to stirring whatever was already in the metal bowl beside the glass dish of buttery bread. My parents go through this fun cycle every few years. He poured a yellow, milky mixture from the bowl onto the bread. For those of you playing the home game, that would be a simple custard made of some kind of cream, maybe milk if you want to make it a little bit healthier, and egg. He's making a bread pudding, in case you hadn't caught on yet. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. My parents go through this fun cycle every few years. He poured a yellow, milky mixture from the bowl onto the bread. Right now, they're at the part where Dad sleeps in his office at the station and Mom pretends not to notice, which is hilarious since Dad fled to his office because Mom was so pissed she couldn't look at him with her. Which is hilarious since Dad fled to his office because Mom was so pissed she couldn't look at him without her whole body tensing. I'm sorry. Lame, Ella. Trite and lame. Do better. Anything I can do? Wow, Ella. Epic improvement. It's fine. Dad'll find some way to convince Mom to forgive him, and they'll snap right back into being fairy tale soulmates until he screws up again. Screws up? A funny way to say is a fuck who deserves to have his guts ripped out, but whatever. I slid into a seat at the end of the kitchen table, not taken up by Paige's field day banners. Thank fuck Paige, Jason, and I were all on the same team. Otherwise, the midnight fucking craft sessions would have gotten really fucking annoying. Waiting while Jason slid the glass dish into the oven, managing not to ask the question I had no right asking until he'd sat down beside me. What happened? Between your parents, I mean. Jason froze. Fuck. Then he frowned, thinking for a minute before looking at me. Short version, Dad promised Mom he'd keep me away from anything dangerous, and if anything ever happened to me, he'd tell her the second he found out. Okay. The urge to grab a marker and fix the lettering on Paige's poster curled my fingers. A few tiny tweaks to the shadowing and it would look so much better, but it wasn't my poster to fix. Focus, Ella. I sipped my coffee, washing down the sour of self-loathing. It sounds like a pretty reasonable promise for a parent. How did your dad fuck it up? Jason's gaze slid from me to his coffee. He forgot to tell Mom about the school fire and didn't kick me out of his car when the call about you being held in that shed came in. Shit. My coffee churned in my stomach. Going after you is on me. I'm the one who jumped into Dad's car, and I'll never be sorry for it. He would have had to pry me out of that car and handcuff me to keep me from going with him, and he didn't have time. He didn't glance up at the girl he'd raced into the night to find. I explained that to Mom. She didn't care. I didn't make a note about this, but I want to say how beautiful that sentence is. He didn't glance up at the girl he'd raced into the night to find. Because that's her.
Yeah.
Because he loves her, whether or not she wants to admit it. He loves her. And
I don't think he loves her.
I think... Okay. Not love as in like a deep, earth-shattering love, but he... It's more than... He's not lusting after her.
No.
This is deeper than just I kind of like you. This is a deep thing.
Yeah.
So, so what would you call it if not love?
I would call it a crush that got protective. Because he had a crush on her and then trauma happened. So it's a trauma bonded crush.
Okay. So do you mind if I... Okay, no. I'm gonna come back to this. I'm gonna come back to this because I actually want to talk about this point because this is kind of interesting, and I think this would be great as an author to other authors who are listening to explain how you keep this balance. Okay, podcast.
Now I'm nervous.
Relationship balance. No, it's okay. And we don't have to like keep it in, but I think it would be very interesting. I think it would be. All right, so we'll see. We'll see what we have time for. Okay. I would just really like to come back to that point. Okay.
Top paragraph.
Yeah. Okay. Going after you is on me. I'm the one who jumped into Dad's car, and I'll never be sorry for it. He would have had to pry me out of that car and handcuff me to keep me from going with him, and he didn't have time. He didn't glance up at the girl he'd raced into the night to find. I explained that to Mom. She didn't care. I'm sorry. Find a new phrase, Ella. Don't be. I didn't. He flattened his lips together, closed his eyes, opened his eyes, started again. Staying here isn't just about Kate wanting you to have babysitters or me not being able to breathe at the idea of being miles away where I'm not sure if you're safe. Sleeping on your couch is a hell of a lot better than being anywhere near home. If I wasn't here, I'd be hiding out with Andre or Paige. I'm sorry. Promise? You're a selfish shit, Ella. Promise. Jason looked up at me, offering a small smile. Tired, but not forced, not masking a lie. Ask Paige about 6th grade when she wakes up. We spent 2 weeks camping in her backyard. She turned it into a history project so her parents would stop asking when I was leaving. Damn. I chanced a sip of my coffee. Paige for the friendship win. She is the unchallenged victor. That's not true. I took Jason's hand without thinking, risking the dreaded it. You have to know that's not true. His smile finally reached his eyes. My heart rocketed into my throat, my body tensing, promising visions of things I was too coward to face prowled just out of sight. Breathe, breathe. Shit, you're a shit. I dug my fingertips into the tabletop, pulling hard enough to feel nail threatening to rip from skin, lifting my other hand away from Jason's to reach for my coffee. Breathe, breathe. Is Paige hiding out here too? No, her family's fine. Jason sighed a laugh. She's a polar bear and an otter tank, but she's a master of in-home familial avoidance, and her parents are pretty good about letting her do her own thing. Guilt and need battled for a moment, the selfish stupidity of it all building a scream in my soul that made bursting out of my flesh seem like a real possibility, a relief even. If I were down to one human shackle, a shackle that didn't even sleep in my room, you're the worst of all shits, Ella. Worse, you're a hypocrite and a shit. If Paige isn't hiding out, should I convince her to go home? I tried to press my hand flat to the table, but my fingers had frozen into claws. You can try, but there's no chance in hell she's leaving. A mix of humor and sympathy filled Jason's tired eyes. As soon as Kate chose going to some meeting over staying with you in the hospital, Paige decided Kate was... He frowned. An incompetent guardian unworthy of caring for a gerbil, I think was the wording. Oh, shit. Yep. Jason raised his mug, prepping for a cheers. Paige Paxman, Laureldale's patron saint of all things lonely and lost, declared herself high overlord of your recovery and safety. You cannot dethrone her. You're not getting rid of her. If your room feels cramped, I'd suggest bunk beds. I laughed. Jason furrowed his brow, giving his mug a little wiggle. Paige put herself in charge of your recovery. You will heal. You will thrive. Or else. I stopped laughing. Yep, Jason nodded. Bunk beds. He gave up on waiting for me to raise the mug currently in my hand and cheersed it anyway, the ceramic on ceramic clink ringing like a gavel officially declaring 3 things to be true. 1, I have never and will never deserve friends like Jason and Paige. 2, I'm a blind asshat who needs to pay more attention to the shit going on in said friends' lives. 3, sometimes a semi-fucked plan really is the best option. I could have said semi-fucked. I went with semi. And that ends the chapter. What? I could have said semi, but I decided not to.
Semi-fucked. Semi-fucked.
Semi-fucked. Semi-fucked plan.
Why did you choose semi-fucked over semi-fucked?
Semi-charm kind of life, baby, baby. I want something else. No?
I respect that inspiration source.
Look, I like pop punk, okay? And I'm staying with it. Is that pop punk or is that just alt? Whatever. Let me know in the comments. Okay, so no, you know what? First, I want to go back to this. I'll remember that we talked about this. So Jason.
Uh-huh.
And this is not the first time that you've had a relationship like this in your books. How do you, and you do it well, but how do you balance that protectiveness with not being controlling? Because there are some readers who could look at this and be like, whoa, he needs to back the fuck off. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think they would. And I think if they do, they're going to be in the minority. And that's because you're able to kind of maintain that balance. How do you do it?
Okay, so you're going to have some weird background noise. We tried to pause recording for a moment, but that's not going to work. The beauty of living in a hurricane place is that if there's a single dead branch on a tree, they send people to emergency remove it before it becomes a deadly projectile.
And we are now in peak hurricane season.
So they're removing deadly projectiles, and we unfortunately cannot hold anymore. So, the answer to the question you were asking is, I think it becomes the difference of when you are creating a physical or emotional barrier.
Okay.
So there is a difference between being even annoyingly overprotective and forcibly blocking someone from their free movement.
Okay.
So while Jason is like hyper vigilant in guarding her,
yes,
which, considering that he doesn't know anything about Aetherians,
right? Yes,
is pretty understandable at this point.
Yeah,
he has not physically blocked her from doing anything. He has not locked a door.
That's true. He did just freely let her climb down into the chasm.
He has not stopped her from doing anything when she really wanted to do it.
Right.
He has tried to convince her. He has offered to do it himself, but he has not used his physical force against her physical force to not let her do something. And I think that's where that difference between you're annoying me and this is unnecessary and okay, this is now flat out not okay, red flag behavior.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. And I did bring that up specifically because of the relationship between Jacob and Amelia and the tethering, and how I think there was like one person who was like, oh my God, he's so controlling. And it's like, no.
No, it was actually an editor who was saying it.
Oh my God, you're right. It was
one of my editors who was like, Jacob is controlling and abusive.
Yeah,
and
that was when you were with Silence in the Library.
Yeah, and come to find out that she was actually in the midst of leaving a very unsafe marriage, and there was some projection going on.
I forgot about that.
But it was that of like Jacob was being overly protective, but he had never reached that point of stopping her from doing something he wanted her to do.
Yes.
It was just annoying and unnecessary. And I think that's when it crosses the line. Yeah. When it's annoying and unnecessary versus forcibly put upon.
Okay. Thank you for it's hard to as a man, as a cis hetero man, to really be able to see it objectively. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because not always, because women do it too. I have a friend who was abused by his then girlfriend. And so I'm not just saying that it's only men, but it is typically almost, I'm pulling this out of my ass, but I would say probably 95% of the time, at least, it is a man that's doing the controlling. So it's hard. So thank you. I appreciate that. So next I have a little editing note that you do not always have to put in commas where commas should theoretically go technically. For instance, get your shit together, Ella, or at the very least suppress and detach, you little fuck. Normally you would put commas after or and least in that. So or, comma, at the very least, comma, suppress and detach, comma, you little fuck. I didn't do those because that's not how Ella thinks, right? And that's why it's important to have a style guide so that you can say, hey, this isn't what I do in this series. It's a good thing.
Well, because Ella's voice is more important than Ella's grammar.
Correct. Yes, agreed. And then the note right after that, get your shit together, Ella, or at the very least, suppress and detach, you little fuck. Miss Hayes and I had worked on positive self-talk in our second session. It hadn't gone well. Yeah, no shit. Anything you want to talk about with that?
Ella's internal voice has gotten significantly harder on her this book.
It really has, and I feel really bad for her. That's not good. We should talk nicely to ourselves. Not always like, oh God, how do you say this politely? I can't think of it. I'm an old man now. But you don't pussyfoot around the situation all the time. Sometimes you got to be like, hey, sit down and fix this, okay? But you don't have to be like, you're such an idiot. Sit down and fucking fix it. Like, don't do that. Just be like, hey, you need to probably sit down and fix this, okay, buddy?
I think you're coming at it from a weird angle.
Am I? Okay, go ahead.
No, because it's not the negative self-talk of her saying she needs to do things. It's the negative self-talk of how much self-loathing and self-doubt she has. So it's not that she has previously not come at herself with that hard angle of like, sit down, shut up, get it done.
Yeah.
Because she's always had that attitude toward herself. And I think that is an attitude that very much keeps her alive. It's just instead of like being, sit down, Ella, get it done, Ella, it's like, sit down, you useless little fuck, and do something worth breathing for. And I feel like that's the bigger difference, is it's not that she's not she's taking herself to task more now. It's that instead of taking herself to task as in like this is your job, now it's this is your job, you useless waste of space who doesn't deserve to breathe, who can't get it fucking done.
Yeah, that's not okay.
And that's more the difference.
That's where she's crossing a line. She needs to not do that. Poor Ella. I hope that Miss Hayes has some kind of breakthrough. I doubt it'll happen, but I'm hoping. Just like I'm shipping Ella and Jason. If my parents had been giving their friends a thank you gift, they probably would have gone with whiskey. Frowned upon for high schoolers, not the worst possibility. I laughed openly at this, and Megan said, she's trying to do nice. It's hard.
Well, she's never tried to do this without her mom before. She's always had a mom to help coordinate thank you things.
Yeah.
That's hard to figure out.
I don't want to be remembered as the reason you fucked your back for the rest of forever. Jason huffed a laugh. Why does he huff a laugh, Megan? Well, because Ella doesn't know. She's like, oh, look, I'm doing good. Good, Ella, you got this.
Well, for our new friends, a few years ago, Jason was out camping with his dad and was theoretically attacked by an animal, but he got slashed from his shoulder to the bottom of his ribs across his back. And so it did some muscular damage, which is why the boy who should be our high school football hero, because he is built like a wall and a runner.
He should be on the defense. Sorry, not on that D. Not on Evans D. Am I right?
No, Evans D is dangerous.
Yes, it is.
But you would expect him to be a football player normally, but it's because he did some of the muscles in his back got damaged when he was hurt. So he can't play football. So Ella being like, I don't want to be the reason your back is fucked when you're older. And he's like, LOL. You're not the problem.
LOL, Ella. See what I did there?
I'm proud of you. I don't know how to help you with this.
And then we get to the part where I forgot that Ella was an artist until you said this. The urge to grab a marker and fix the lettering on Paige's poster curled my fingers. A few tiny tweaks to the shadowing and it would look so much better, but it wasn't my poster to fix. And I was like, oh yeah, she does do the art thing. I totally forgot.
Well, because Kate's been cock blocking her. Like, because Ella can't really sketch in front of her friends just for funsies in case she accidentally does something prophetic.
Yeah.
She can't intentionally work with her visions or trying to do anything right now because human playpen.
Yeah.
So she's really like, she hasn't done anything art related at all in this book so far because Kate has been intentionally not letting her do it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Sadly. Okay, and then the last thing that I have is, and I know that this is just like wishful thinking of me, that the curtains aren't just blue, that there's something else going on, but guilt and need battled for a moment, the selfish stupidity of it all, building a scream in my soul that made bursting out of my flesh seem like a real possibility, a relief even. And I was like, ooh, could you imagine having that feeling of being able to let go of your flesh and like become the wolf that you're meant to be? And she can't do that. And that's probably not what's going on here.
No, that is not about her morphing into a werewolf. It is about that. And I cannot believe you don't know this feeling.
I don't know this feeling.
But when you like want to do something so bad, your whole body's just going to tense and explode if you don't get to do it.
Nope.
This is why I'm gonna die petting a big kitty
Yes,
belly.
as we talked about on last week's episode.
Because I just...
Here, kitty. Brrr, here, kitty. Yeah.
No, it's true when it's just like your
bad.
whole body's like, I'm gonna do it.
It's gonna be a problem.
It's that same thing for her. Apparently, like, impulse control is a problem for me these days since I've written about it 2 chapters in a row.
Yeah, you have.
I guess it makes sense since I've been tired, but yeah, like
yes,
that whole like,
true.
I'm gonna pop if you don't let me do what I wanna do in this moment. Ha ha ha.
So I think that was a nice song.
Thank you.
I liked that.
I wrote it for your birthday.
Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you wanted to add on? I'm done with my notes. So if you have any,
I would just like to feel very proud of myself for the fact that I am not a cookie/bakey person. The kitchen is a catastrophe for me. I cause fires, sometimes with
great
damage.
Bread.
But I did, in fact, look up bread pudding recipes.
Yes, you did.
And put Jason's bread pudding creation steps in the appropriate order.
Yeah.
To make sure that he was logically making a breakfast bread pudding. And I'm just very proud of myself.
You should be.
That at least in a fictional world, I baked breakfast and it didn't go badly.
Well, it made me happy that you even went to the detail of how he clearly made the custard and set it aside. Because when you are baking, typically you want the eggs to come to room temperature. So I was like, look at you go. And she was like, I literally followed the recipe. I was like, well,
because the recipe said, it didn't say why to do it first, but it was like, make this thing first. And I was like, that's why. Because the fridge has been opening and closing. We've heard glass touch counter. So like he's been doing things for a few minutes.
Oh my God, we did hear that. Yeah.
So he's already like... He got up and he was like, well, fuck it, it's early. I'm going to make people bread pudding. And so we've heard him playing with the fridge. He got the glass casserole dish out. So, like, we've heard the movements of things beginning. And so that, in my head, is what he did while the coffee was boiling.
Yeah.
And then he poured himself coffee and got the bread out. And that's when Ella caught him. So he had already been working on breakfast for a while.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he's Jason, and that's what you do when you can't sleep. You do Argo things.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, because that's what's happening in the Argo kitchen at that time of morning. They're baking.
That's what he's been raised in, right? It's like
the
Argo's always been there.
Yeah, he's lived in the Argo his whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his family home.
Yeah.
It is his ancestral family home.
Oh, yeah, right. That's right. That's right. On Fleece Street, my God. So why don't you tell people where they can find us?
Sure. Well, whatever podcast platform you happen to be listening upon, please do follow Page by Page. Also, if you have the ability, like, comment. Even if your comment is something like, nice episode, guys. It is super helpful to let the algorithms know that you like Page by Page and they should recommend us to more friends. Mm-hmm. Also, you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, our home on Substack.
Yeah. And as always, thank you for reading. Thank you, Bubba.